The Christmas Day bomber, as he's called, he was in a situation where his father warned us about his thoughts, and I believe that a State Department official had in fact classified him as what is that, a P3B, which is possibly inadmissible on terrorism grounds. Despite that classification, he got a visa, and even though we obviously dodged a bullet basically on his attempt there that day, I assume the administration did a thorough post-mortem on this, and I was going to ask if your office was involved in that and what changes have been made should a situation like this arise again where a family member says that this is this individual, you know, is designated as possibly inadmissible on terrorism grounds. Will you get that visa?
Mr. Chairman, it's an excellent question. Of course, we're now in an era where our enemies are looking for people who have very limited derogatory information on them so that they can more effectively target us. This was obviously a very potent wake-up call, and my office was integrally involved in the work in the interagency to ensure that we are protected against this tactic by the terrorists. We have issued new instructions to consular officers worldwide to use much more technically sophisticated search tools, advanced algorithms when researching watch list nominations. We have now a much better system for informing the interagency about visa revocation processes, and we are working closely with the Terrorist Screening Center. We've done a lot to reevaluate the criteria upon which individuals are watch listed and to ensure, for example, that the kind of information that you mentioned is mainstreamed into the pool of information that relates to potential watch listings much more efficiently and in a reliable manner. So we have taken a lot of different steps to do this. There have been a number of after-action reports that we'd be happy to supply you with.
I appreciate that,
Ambassador.
Ambassador.
It's been a comprehensive effort.
I think we could follow up on some of these details. It's critically important, and I appreciate that opportunity. Let me ask you another question. It has to do with Al-Shabaab, which has been really morphing and evolving its capabilities. And the group has attracted, oddly enough, a number of Somali Americans who've left their communities in this country and have gone to the Horn of Africa. And now there are reports about Al-Shabaab exploiting our own southern border. And last year, Texas law enforcement was ordered to be on the lookout for a member of Al-Shabaab. And then recently, Ahmed Mohammed Dakhani appeared in federal court where he has been accused of attempting to smuggle several East Africans with terror links into this country. I mentioned my concern about Mexico in my opening statement about the nature of the situation on the border today and how are groups like Al-Shabaab exploiting basically the controls the cartels have along that border to their advantage.
Mr. Chairman, of course, border security is a primary national security concern. The State Department, together with the Department of Homeland Security, law enforcement and the like, are working very closely to ensure that we have the best possible border security. I'm aware of the reports that you're discussing regarding attempted Somali infiltration, or I should say Al-Shabaab infiltration, and I would say that we are much more alert on the southern border than we have hitherto been. I think that if you want to know about the very specific things that are being done on the border, the questions are appropriately handled by DHS, which is responsible for that. But we are certainly in the counterterrorism community very much aware of the danger there. Now, I would point out that we have seen a lot of violence in Mexico, and the law enforcement situation is a matter of concern. We are, of course, very supportive of what President Calderon has been doing to try to diminish the support. To this point, we have not seen a significant link-up between the drug cartels and terrorist groups themselves, but of course there are human smuggling groups that make this a worrisome situation.
But I'm aware of individuals, one in particular in federal penitentiary who was in fact part of a terrorist group and did make the payoff and got into the U.S. over the border after illegally obtaining a visa to travel to Mexico and then paying to have himself smuggled in, and then managed to find his Confederates or his cell group in the United States. He's now serving time along with the other members of that cell group. So, in fact, the border has been breached, and this latest reporting on al-Shabaab members, especially the fact that our law enforcement on the border has been told to be on the lookout for these individuals who have already made the trek, is disconcerting. I'm going to go to Mr. Sherman for his question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.